So there's this conversation I've been having perhaps with myself. I know I've had with other friends within the space, within the circle of entertainment, and it's the idea of blowing up, the idea of success, the idea with fame, and trying to find out if there's actually a specific line that you cross over, if there is a 50 minute of fame, if there is a moment in time where you can say, that was that moment where I realized I've made it. And I'm still searching. I'm still waiting rather than looking for that moment. As I've come to learn, it's a combination of moments that have brought me to this specific moment in time. I say this because every given day I believe that, okay, cool, I'm at a particular level. And I make plans, I have goals, I have dreams, I take things off my box as far as I can. Yet it never feels full, or it never feels like I can really truly ever achieve this thing that makes me wake up in the morning, this thing I strive for, this thing that I've centered my whole entire resolve in life around. And it starts, knocking at me and saying, what is it that you want? What's your why? And so I begin to wrestle with the idea of fame, and or at least it allows me to look closely at this chase that often in our industry in entertainment, there's a carrot that's been dangled before you. You chase your first 1,000 views, 1,000 streams, and before you know it, you have to put another zero behind that. And where does that end? When does it start becoming a monetary chase versus, you know, the expression of one's craft, and it starts getting lost in a popularity contest? And I reflect on my own life, and not obviously putting this on the next musician, artist, actor, and so forth, but why? Why are we doing this? And it's easy for someone with less than 3,000 followers to boldly profess that, guys, we need to do better by our craft and make sure that, we put our art before the money. And yet it's working for someone else, and that's their claim, and that's how they make their living. And I don't want to denounce anyone else and say, well, that's what makes me a true artist. But I'm consistently present in all stages of this game. And I then ask myself, what is my chase? What am I earnestly trying to achieve? If all these things that I do achieve don't have a specific end. So I then start looking at the idea of expression as the goal. This recent chapter in my life made me feel a certain type of way, where it be a breakup, or I had gone through a specific trial in life, and I would like to expound that creatively with maybe some philosophy and ideas, in my walk with faith and all that is going on around me. And then I present that, right? And maximizing that idea for me becomes the success. Of course, make sure we have some goals, monetarily, numerically, if you will. How many people are we trying to reach? But I think it should be more of a secondary goal. Because this thing is very addictive. It doesn't end. That's the thing about it. I reflect and I watch some of my older videos as far as access is concerned. Because someone might be saying, well, you're not famous. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not. But I've been in all the rooms where famous people operate, and I've been behind the curtain for at least 10 years. And to say it's a day in a life, and then when it starts becoming a day in a life, you start seeing it differently. And then I ask myself, okay, cool, so what's this chase? And I don't want to, you know, speak foul of the machine and say, without the people behind the scenes, there is no talent. No, trust, talent was going to exist regardless. I too am talent. And I say this being privileged and blessed enough to walk on both sides of, this line. And I start realizing, no, man, there's things that are far more important in this life than chasing the number one, trying to be the best of. And when those accolades do come, I think there has to be a different embrace and a humility that comes with that, to say, I was pursuing my life's expression, and I was blessed enough to be acknowledged by my peers and the council before me, and my audience celebrated me in that sense. I mean, it sounds a lot more, way too profound than for the common folk in what, fame and award winning shows should feel like. But I think there is truth in that. I think there is a sense of responsibility that comes with these titles. And I think we often forget that we are also placed in these seats. And it's not so much of a, I'm here because I am the best of the best. And it's like, true, you are. But don't forget there are people behind the scenes that have also set things in motion so that you could be who you are. And without saying don't chase it, don't be engulfed by it. Because when you start entering into that territory, you start finding um, almost like a dopamine rush in the activity of being successful versus just being, you know, and you forget to put your hours in acting, you forget to put your hours in the music, you forget to put your hours in the art. And what starts happening is that you chase the end result and you forget the means. So, yeah, that's how I feel about being celebrated. Stagnot, my friends. Stagnot.